Hey, what's up everybody? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Robot Spirits or Robot Damashii Gundam Deathscythe. No number here because it is the Bandai Collector Shop exclusive figure. You can tell by the lack of a window on the packaging, it's all monochromatic. Very different style of packaging, or at least somewhat different style of packaging compared to the regular release figures. So this is the original version of Gundam Deathscythe, original in terms of chronological order in the anime, probably in the manga as well. So this is not the one that has all those big shroud-like wings. This turns into that later on. Or maybe they rebuild a new one, I don't remember, it's been a little while. But anyway, this is the more simplistic version of Gundam Deathscythe. It's also a very nice Gundam design, I think. I think a lot of people are probably going to agree with me that it's a very nice design. Some might even agree that the Deathscythe Hell, which is the one with all that stuff going on, is maybe a little bit too much going on, and this one's pretty nice in its simplicity. It does stand about 5.5 inches tall to the top of the crown or V-fin or whatever you want to call that. It has basically the standard array of Robot Damashii articulation. The head is on a ball peg that goes up into the head. The neck is on maybe a ball hinge, probably a ball peg. So you're going to have plenty of range of motion there. You'll be able to look around just about everywhere. Do be aware of the V-fin. It is rather brittle, so don't go ahead and put too much force on that while you're posing this guy. You're going to have to be mindful of that. We have the shoulder hinge that actually brings the arm all the way out if you want it to, so you can get the arm all the way across. You could double hand the weapon, no problem at all, which is pretty cool. Sure, it gets a little clumsy looking, but what are you going to do? It is just an action figure of a giant robot, so you're going to have a little bit of clunkiness here and there, but that's a really nice butterfly joint. And as you can see, there's a ball peg that goes into that allows the arm to move around on top. Of course, we have the full swivel there. The shoulder pad is hinged, then the arm is hinged individually, so you can see the hinge for the shoulder pad. That's that gray tab right there. And then we have that little rivet-like thing in there for the hinge for the shoulder. So you shouldn't have any trouble posing this guy at all. These thrusters are on ball pegs, so you can move those around. And then we have a bicep swivel, which actually has a little bit of play in it. It's really just a ball peg. So it's a bicep swivel with an extra articulation, so that's always nice. We have a double hinged elbow, gives you really good range of motion there. And then we have, for the wrist, a double ball peg, and that's how the hands are connected. So we have a lot of interchangeable hands. We'll get to that in a little bit. We have an ab crunch built in right here, where this darker, almost gunmetal color tucks into the white body. So that's a pretty nice ab crunch. It's one of the more effective ones I've seen in the Robot Damashii line. We don't have any side-to-side, no lateral rocking going on here, but we do have it down here at the waist, so that's pretty nifty. We also can lean forward and back. We can lean back really far, forward pretty well, and then of course we have the waist twist. So far we've got a really nice array of articulation. Let's move down. Whoa, almost spilled my tray of stuff. Let's move down to the hips and the skirt armor. So as you would expect, the skirt flaps are all on their standard ball pegs, so they can move around in there to provide for the range of motion for the hips. Side skirts are going to be a little bit limiting, but standard ball peg there. Little bit of a hinge going on in the butt flap, which is a little better than most because most of them are fixed, so that's kind of good. We have a standard ball peg for the hips. It's not too loose, but it's not super tight. Pretty standard design for the wingsuits. We do get a really good 90-degree hip movement right there, almost all the way to the side, not quite. Turns out the hip flaps aren't in the way because the hips do stop themselves, so that's all right. And then we can go backwards with the hips, and we have a full 360 thigh swivel. We have double jointed knees with the hinged knee pad, so you can move that around depending on how you want to pose him, so that's pretty good. The knees pretty much give you a full bend, full 180 on that knee, so that's pretty nice. And for the ankles, we have the hinged, is it hinged? Yes, hinged and ball pegged ankle armor. So we have the ball peg where it connects in there, and then that gray piece is actually hinged. So that provides for a nice range of motion. And then we have the ankles and the feet So we have the toe hinge right here that lets you bring the toe down, which is pretty common. I wish it would let you bring them up a little bit more, but that's pretty much all you're going to get. The ankle is hinged. If I can get it to actually move without just moving the toe, I guess that's not going to work for us right now. We have a swivel right here. I'll get around to the other part in a second. So we have a swivel here. It also rocks from side to side. Gives you a whole lot of range of motion in the toe. It's going to account for or make up for some of the lack of range of motion everywhere else. We do have an ankle rocker. You can see that little rivet thing in there again. That allows for that. And then the ankle itself, you can kind of see in there underneath that rivet is a ball peg. So you're going to have, you should have anyway, let's see if I can get it to actually work. It's really tight. We have a 360 ball peg. Anything you want to do, you can do. It's just a matter of it being pretty tight. So it's going to take some loosening. Pretty standard for these figures that the ankles have the articulation built in, but the sculpt is going to limit it. So you're gonna have to play around with it a little bit to get it how you want it, but it is in there, so that's pretty good. As far as the sculpts on this guy goes, it's a pretty nice sculpt, I think. Lots of nice little details throughout. And I think the molded plastics work really well. If there's one thing Bandai does well, it's these molded plastics on these Gundam figures. They're really solid colors, there's nice composition, and then the parts that are painted, they look pretty darn good. We don't really have too much of a problem with all of these yellow parts, as you might see with some of the domestic figures. So the core figure itself is a really solid robot Damashii, and I have to recommend it. If you're willing to spend the extra few dollars and get the exclusive Deathscythe, this is a very, very solid figure to get. Now let's look at what he comes with. First thing is we have the backpack, which we need to put the backpack on because it makes him look even cooler. So we can put that on. If I can do that on camera, I can. These are hinged, but you're probably just going to want to leave them up like that. Gives them a little bit more of an ominous look. Pretty cool. Gives them a little extra bulk. This thruster back here is articulated just like the ones in the shoulders. We can also use this additional piece now. This one right here, that just slides on. You can see that it just slides onto this back piece. I think like this, maybe on the other way. Probably either way, to be completely honest. Haven't tested it out yet because I haven't put them on a display stand. So anyway, that slides on there. You're going to want to center that, and that will allow for you to use a standard display stage for him. Peg hole right there. So that's pretty cool. This isn't my favorite. I'm pretty sure they used this same design for, maybe it was the other Deathscythe. It's not my favorite design for the additional pieces to provide for the peg hole, but it's not horrible, so that's okay. We do have the shield, the blade shield thingy. Sorry, I don't remember most of the official names for these things. It's been a while. And this has a peg right here to go on the arm here, if we can do that. So he's got the shield, and it does have a slot for this, which makes it 120% cooler. Put that in there, and now he's got like the dagger shield thingy of energy. Like I said, I don't remember the names, but it looks awesome. It snaps together well, and these are hinged. Definitely provides for some cool displays. I'm really excited to have this guy, to be completely honest. And now we have his scythe. His name is Deathscythe after all, so let's take a look at that. I'm going to set him down right here. I guess I'll just lay him down because I don't have his feet lined up. So we have the top part of his scythe, which is similar to Deathscythe Hell. We just have the one piece though. And that's okay, I don't mind. You can either leave it, how's it go, like this. You can leave it straight. Well, obviously you can bend it however you want, but you have the straight blade here, and then we have the much larger, if I can get that off, the much larger curved blade, which provides for a little bit more posability, dynamic posing. That's cool. And of course you can't do much with this without connecting it to a staff. So we have the straight staff. Actually it goes like this, I believe. Remember in my other video I had it like this, thinking that was like a handle, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I didn't check the instructions again. So you can put it like that, and you have the straight staff, and just so you can see, there's Deathscythe, and there's the scythe itself. Taller than he is, so it's a pretty nice sized accessory. And then we also have the curved one to give us the option of having a sort of slashing attack, which is also very nice. I'm glad that they give us that. So it'll look like the staff is actually bending as he's swinging it. So that's pretty cool. And then last but not least, there it is. I have to find it in the package. We have the unextended staff, an unextended whatever, short version. And what that's for is you can slide this through right here on his butt flap and then peg this in, and then you can carry his weapon on his butt flap. Fold that over however you want to. It's up to you. So that's pretty nifty. And then the last thing we want to look at that's not technically an accessory, it's just an alternate body part, are the alternate hands. So he has the 2 fist hands, and then as you might expect, he has a nice array of alternate hands. We have the 2 jazz hands for the dynamic poses, which look really nice, as they almost all do because they're almost all the same sculpt on all these figures. We have the 2 gripping hands for the scythes, and then lastly we have 2 gripping hands with the thumbs up for the scythes. So we have plenty of posing options. It's a really solid core figure, decent array of accessories. Nothing really to complain about. I'm really happy with this guy. I'm super happy that I finally got one, and I have to say I recommend it to you if you're looking for it. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.